1, verse 1. Love righteousness, ye that be judges of the earth. Think of the Lord with a good heart, and in simplicity of heart seek him.
That's right. So that's the very first passage. It says, love righteousness, ye that be judges of the earth. So a righteous judge, he has to love order, he has to love instruction, proper instruction. And then furthermore, once he has the ability, the capacity to understand that instruction, it has to be applied. You know, his whole judgment and seal of his office is set on making sure certain instruction is played out. And he himself being the greatest example, he's a living embodiment and fulfillment of that. You know, and we know that that's not the case in this society. That's why it's just coming to a crumble. It's diminishing as we speak. Because this place of the rulership and the powers to be, they hate judgment, they hate instruction. It goes into that in Psalms the 50th chapter. You know, they cast the Most High's judgment behind their back. That's it on that. What verse you was at in Sirach 10?
Sirach, I was at chapter
verse 3.
Yeah, verse 3.
Can you read 3 again and just read 3 and 4? And then we'll do the line.
Sirach 10 and read. I was at 2. Let me read that again. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers.
As the judge of the people is himself, so are the officers, man. Monkey see, monkey do.
It's like everybody corrupt in this world.
Everybody that's corrupt in this world. And that's why the Rosicrucians and all of these different facets of Esau, COINTELPRO, that's how they infiltrate us, man. They'll basically come with a money bag or something to corrupt the leader, and then there goes the organization. There goes the movement. You know what I'm saying? But that's why this thing about us too is such a threat, because they see that we're not wavering and compromising from the instruction, man. We really the real judges of the earth through the spirit, you know, the order of the apostles, the elders, and men throughout, you know, because we're basically what is that? The scripture talk about declare, lift up the banner, you know, through the word, you know, proper judgment just through the speaking of the word. We're pushing that vibration into the earth, man. And this earth, it obviously is coming against it. Yep, exactly. You know,
it says, as the judge of the people is himself, so as officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
Just not having any standard of what's right and wrong. You know, it's a lot of gray areas. It's just really just a free fall, man. And that also goes to the leadership, man. That's why the scripture talk about Satan. He's gonna come with great wrath because he knows he had a short time. Just because at this point, just anything goes, and you can't maintain a society like that, you know. History shows us we go into the Roman Empire, just leading up to the time of the decline of the Roman Empire, you know, and it was all just because imbalance and rulership. What verse you at?
Sirach chapter 10. Sirach chapter 10, verse 3, it says, an unwise king destroys his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited.
That's right, an unwise king destroyed the people, man. Righteous, Proverbs 29 and 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. You know, it ain't hard to tell, man. Like, even though people don't want to admit it, it's an elephant in the room in most circumstances. Everybody knows the common denominator of what's ruining this life as we know it, and just put holy hell on everybody. You know, it's the self-proclaimed white man. Whether people want to label it, well, it's the 1% or it's the bankers.
Right.
You know, those kids. People don't really want to say what it is, but us, but everybody knows what it is.
Edomites.
You know? Go ahead.
That's the thing about this truth. It calls out the root. It calls out the truth according to its biblical root. You know. It says, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable.
That's right, and that's the hope for the elect, because even though we go through this course of folly being set in great dignity, knowing that we bring all the flavor to the earth, we're under somebody that's based, you always have to know in the back of your mind that the Most High has things set to be this way. So even though you're going through your pitfalls, hey, that instills hope for you to push forward, knowing that at the end, everything's going to be set right back, right side up. You know,
seeing the unseen.
Exactly, like I was going into. It's just a matter of time, which that's where patience going into, suffering through having the capacity to wait on something. But you know it's coming eventually, right? You know? Go ahead.
It says, Want me to keep going? Or?
Nah, I think when you get to 4.
I start at 8. It says,
Okay.
it says, because of unrighteous dealing, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Mm-hmm. And those are all attributes of the wicked that's in power, man. The thief cometh not but to kill, steal, to destroy. You know, we can go into a laundry list of atrocities that he's committed against our nation, chiefly against the nations throughout the earth, to establish his hegemony. But like it also says in the 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, we're coming into that transition too. That's why the elites are scrambling, because they know the scriptures, man. They know how things are supposed to be well ordered. They studied Solomon, the Masons. That's one of the main things that they study in masonry, the building of Solomon's temple, man. But it's like they're doing everything on the level, just like the elder went into. It's a wicked priesthood, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But they follow some of those same tenets as Solomon in the building, because they know that everything is supposed to be well ordered and there's supposed to be structured, you know, a standard and a way to be from the top and go on down to the people, you know. Is it more on that?
I'm going to read verse 5, see what y'all get out of this. It says, in the hand of God is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor.
Mm-hmm. So that basically shows that the Most High controls everything. The scriptures also says it's an easy thing for the Most High to make a poor man rich. So even though things are playing out, this wicked rulership that's controlling the earth, it's not going to continue like this. And the Lord is allowing it for his ultimate will, ultimately, you know.
Now, when it says the person of the scribe, is that saying it's prophet, you think?
Read that again.
It says, in the hand of God is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe, because what the person of the scribe, the prophet, shall he lay his honor.
Yeah, and that's what our people were honored about throughout the course of history. We always wrote things down, man. You know, just our ability to shape narratives, to basically keep a record of our history.
Yeah, and you want to be written down as one of those who did what he was supposed to do. He was upright.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Never now. Yep.
Yeah, because that's how you will be remembered.
Yeah, because
what you read in Kings and Prophets.
That's right. That's right.
Read about the deeds of the righteous, man, the righteous kings, and their effects, and what happened when they were living, and you see the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's gonna be in the book of life. Okay.
Reminds me of Ezra. How he had those scribes right down the 70 books.
Because especially if you're in a seat of power, you know, throughout the course of history, your legacy, you're going to be remembered by your actions, by your deeds. That's why when we go into just the kings of Judah, you know, it's certain kings that maybe was considered righteous, you know, like Hezekiah. And then you had other kings that was considered wicked, you know, like Ammon, you know, like Manasseh, because that was their legacy based on the deeds that they was pushing forward. And it was heightened because they were in power, you know. Go ahead.
Let me just keep going. It says, it says, bear not hatred to your neighbor for every wrong, and do nothing by injurious practices. Pride is hateful before God and man, and by both does one commit iniquity.
Right. And these are just simple tenets, right? Just simple commandments. Love, worketh no ill towards his neighbor. You know, just dealing upright with your neighbor. You know, dealing upright with your brother. We know in every way it's just a systematic setup to where Esau, he's always basically going to get the upper hand in some type of way. And he just doesn't deal uprightly in any fashion, you know? And that's through pride. Because he don't think that the Most High set him up to do what he's doing. You know, he think that manifest destiny, that's what they teach. You know, that they was this high, supreme nation of people that was just always supposed to be on top and everybody else supposed to be slaves. So you just take when we get it, you know.
Ecclesiastes 8:11. You know, those sins against us, evil work is not executed speedily. You know, it's fully set in hearts of men to do evil. So like he's saying, man, they think that it's manifest destiny, but they ain't been touched for it yet. So okay, this is how it's supposed to go. So I'm gonna keep rocking and learn rocking.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely right, man. Just like anything, like a kid going to the candy store and you hitting it off. You walking down the street with a mouthful of candy, you just gonna keep hitting that home. You know? That's Esau on just the whole planet Earth. You just gonna keep hitting that home until the side stops. You know? But yeah, yeah.
This is matter of fact, I'm gonna start a particular spot. So that whole chapter 18, yeah, like 17 or 18.
Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 18 says, and it shall be when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom, talking about the king, that he shall write him a copy of this law in a book out of that which is before the priests, the Levites.
Right. So we all know that it's a different level of understanding. Even brothers who used to go into the Hebrew, when you actually have to write it down, it really resonates with your spirit. So when the king, he came in the seat of power, they actually had to write the law, had to write it out. So obviously, if you're writing something out, you're reading it, you're interpreting it, you're getting understanding of it. It becomes within you. Go ahead.
It says, and it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life.
That's right. Blessed is he that readeth, man. And it says, you shall read it all the days of his life. Even though he's a king, even though he didn't read it out, he knows it. But it's a continual practice, a continual process. Because guess what? Even the best lawyers and judges, they stay going through law books. They stay going over old cases. They gotta stay sharp to where if they going through a trial, they fresh. Just like us. Even though the apostles and the elders, they've been teaching 30, 20 years, man. They stay in the scriptures.
And they steady increasing too.
Yep, exactly.
And you gotta be in a like manner. This is your enterprise. It becomes a party.
Exactly.
So just imagine when the laws are written in the government.
Oh, goodness gracious.
It's going to automatically be in us to judge righteously.
Like perfect judgment.
Yeah, perfect judgment. That's what's coming.
That's right.
That's the ultimate state. That's the ultimate state of being. Completely lockstep in with Yahweh. Like, ain't no missing.
But see, Esau
no doubt.
is lockstep with Satan.
Yeah.
Like he's literally implanting in everybody just to be Satan. Like that's his rule. That's his rule, just to teach people to be satanic.
It's his blessing.
Yeah, that's his blessing.
Right within it.
Yeah, because Satan, we say it a lot, but that word means adversary. He's adverse to the ways of the Most High in every single way. Because just think, the scriptures talk about the turning of things upside down. Whatever the Most High say, they just go completely left field, Go ahead.
Right. It says, and it shall be with him that he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord, his power.
That he may learn to fear the Lord. Because the fear of the Lord, that's the beginning of wisdom. But if you're just going through that process every day, just meditating on what the Lord instructs you to do, you're going to develop a fear because you know what you're expected to do.
And it's a constant because it says all the days of your life. You fear the Lord all the days of your life. You're going to be rewarded because you're going to move a certain way.
Exactly. Exactly. Go ahead.
It says to keep all the words of this law and these statutes to do them, that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren.
Right, because the king or anybody for that, like Yahweh Shai said, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself. Because Yahweh Shai, he was washing the disciples' feet. Like basically, anybody that's in the seat of office and Senate, Congress, they're servants of the people. They're supposed to serve the people. You're supposed to be the greatest servant, really.
Love thy neighbor.
Exactly.
Love thy brother. That's why that commandment is sheep in there, because when you're not looking at yourself above your brother, what are you looking at? You're looking at the betterment. Your decision making is for the betterment of the legacy of my people. It's not for my personal gain.
That's exactly right.
But your focus has to be where?
On the enterprise, ultimately.
That's right, man. On the development.
Yeah, that's what a good leader is always about. Because even Solomon, before he came into the seat of king, he prayed to the Lord to give him wisdom and knowledge to judge such a people. He wasn't asking for him personally to expand and do all of these things. He was looking for the greater good of his people and the enterprise. And because of that, everything else was added unto him, Go ahead.
It says that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not aside from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children, and in the midst of Israel.
And that's going to be perfected when Yahweh Shah returns and when we be in the kingdom, of course. Jeremiah 31 and 31 is going to be in our inward parts. We're going to have everlasting life at that point because it's going to be in us. Not on us, it's going to be in us, you know? So, at this appointed time, that's why we've been destroyed as a people, because all our rulers, man, they, in some capacity, they didn't keep the commandments and they didn't follow in the ways of the Lord through their whole course of their life, you know? But we can go back to Exodus, or we can go to Exodus, the 21st chapter 1. Just read these precepts and stuff like that. And any precept y'all got and thoughts, just add to it too.
21.
Yeah, just start right at the top out for sure.
Exodus 21 and 1. Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them, that thou buy a Hebrew servant 6 years shall he serve.
Right, and if I could just say this too, just as a side note, because when we go out and we talk about we don't have the nations in servitude under us, they think we own some Esau captivity oppression, which this shows that slavery is biblical, but it goes into how to operate with your servants, you know? Because Esau, when he put us in, was just hardcore oppression or child slavery, putting us on auction block, you know, separating us from our families, just being just injurious in every single way. But on the flip side, it's going to go into how you deal with your servants and righteousness, you know? Go ahead.
And in the seventh he shall go out free for nothing.
Right, so like if you, and this is just an example of what's called indentured servitude. That's what the word employee goes back to as well. Like you go to work, we're really slaves, you know? But if you basically work on somebody's land for 6 years, on the 7th year, your master is supposed to let you go. Even that principle in Esau's system, in his credit system, like if you got debt, 7 years, you're supposed to be free and clear of that debt. So he gets that out of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? I think it's called like a jubilee or something.
Yeah,
Jubilee.
you have a situation where maybe a person lost a piece of the enterprise or they were losing money on something and they needed to borrow. You can borrow from one of your brothers. And let's say you couldn't pay it back. Something really bad happened, you couldn't pay it back. Well, you could go and actually serve them and work for them and work the debt off. Okay.
And just imagine if we're going to go into these things, if that was being practiced, man, how just orderly and just how it would just be beneficial to everybody.
Everybody.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody.
Because it's just teaching how to just deal the right way.
You see, we're working in this system where everybody's a sovereign, everybody's got their own business. You know, if somebody will say, hey man, I come help you do this.
I need help.
At the end of this, you know what I mean? Get paid. I'll deal with you. And you say, yeah. You book them as an employee.
Yeah.
The servant. You know what I'm saying? But after a certain period of time, once things get built up, you're going to eat.
Exactly. It's beneficial for all parties involved. It ain't a one-sided deal with Esau always pushing, you know?
Yep.
That's right. You have a servant, and once he finishes, he leaves. You furnish all the stuff. You get him set up. You just keep passing it on proclamation. You know?
It's like
everybody winning.
everybody's helping each other build an enterprise. Like you work for somebody, help them build theirs, they give you a piece so you can build your own. You know? Simple mathematics, man. You know? Continue. I think he was in what, verse 2?
Oh, no, I'm 3. I'm in 3 now.
Okay, come on.
It says, if he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him.
So basically, that servant, how he came to you, whenever his time, his job is up, that's how he is supposed to be able to leave. He came with a wife to work for you, and then whenever he leaves, he can leave with his wife. You know? Go ahead.
It says, if his master had given him a wife, and she had borne him sons or daughters, and the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself.
That's a different case because obviously, you know, if he has a wife and born children, those are assets to that man's household. So you just read up, you come in, you leave as you came in, basically. You know, but look, man, you're gonna keep going on.
Okay, it says, and if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master and my children, I will not go out free. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges, and he shall also bring him to the door, unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with the awl.
Right, and bore means to pierce. When you look that word up, bore his ear, and an awl is like a piercing instrument, like a sharp piercing instrument. And that's why it's lawful to have earrings too, for brothers. Because it's just basically just a sign or a token of servitude. You know? So this is what happens when a man agrees with his master, hey, I want to keep my wife, my children, I'm just going to continue to work for you. Even after he's done his 6 years, whatever, his master may have treated him good, he's like, hey, I'm just going to thug it out with you. You know?
Yeah, man, I ain't trying to leave no out.
Yeah. That means his master was good, got him comfortable, you know, he's straight. So that's where the earring comes from. It was just a side or a brand of servitude, you know?
Right. I said, like, example of that, the Lord of the Rings, Frodo, and they got Sam. It was like the servant, they was talking.
Right.
That was the road dog. You know, so just an example.
Yep, go ahead.
And it says, and if the servant shall plainly say, oh, we read that. It says, and he shall bore his ear through with the awl and shall serve him forever.
Mm-hmm.
And if a man shall sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the men servants do.
Right, so there's different situations between male and female servants. Go ahead.
Okay? If she please not her master who hath betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed.
Right, and when you go into that word betrothed, it means like engaged. Like basically being promised to that man. Which that also shows that women by nature, going back to Genesis the 3rd chapter, they're just servants, man. You know, they don't really have a lot of options in servitude, especially if they're bound to a man and you up under him for life. Whereas a man, as a servant, you read 6 years, he can split and go do his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But if the master is with a certain woman and for whatever reasons he's not pleased to be with her, it says, then shall he let her be redeemed or bought back from the person we originally got her from. You know? It's just a business deal. Like just trade, like they trade players, like I don't want to trade this, or I'm not going to deal. Bring them to my household. You know? Go ahead.
And
It says to sell her.
to sell her unto a strange nation, he shall have no power, seeing he hath dealt deceitfully with her.
Right, because we weren't supposed to deal, make any covenants with the heathen. So you weren't supposed to sell, even if you were gonna do away with the woman, you can't sell it to a strange nation or a heathen. Basically, you have to sell it to another Israelite, your brethren.
It's harsh, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. But if that situation may not happen all the time, but somebody was betrothed already.
I'm telling you, bro. Just think about how diligently they would sit trying to think about marriages.
Yep.
Like, you know these decisions, house change.
Hell yeah.
Well, hey,
Legacy.
It wasn't just a willy-nilly thing. Like, you had to really consider, like, man, this is good.
well, at the book of Ruth, when it was time for, Boaz was like, there's a near kinsman, to basically take Ruth and raise up the seed, that would eventually David will come through in Messiah. But the dude was like, look, man, this will ruin my house if I take it.
Yeah.
He was like, I can't do it. At first he was going to do it. He was going to take the land and everything. But once Ruth came a part of the deal, he was like, this is going to ruin my hair. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it ain't for every man to have.
The Most High will do that, though, just to show his authority over the situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's one of the plot twists.
Yeah.
That if you ain't spiritual, and you'll get juked. But the Most High do that to show his authority over the situation, man. You know? Because was that the ideal situation?
No.
No, it's probably the least ideal.
Exactly.
You know, technically.
Right.
I know.
But that shows too, just in this thing of life, everything ain't gonna go the same way. Things happen, but we always had a way to deal with certain things, technicalities and whatnot. You know.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
For the purpose of life.
Exactly.
It says, To sell
Yeah, because Mark say this too. Jake think the Bible is just a fairy tale book. They don't think it deals just with the realities and just having to deal with a course of life on earth, man. A family structure, how to deal with this situation, that situation. You know, come on, man. This is actually true instruction, you know, this true wisdom, you know?
With examples
Mm-hmm.
of real life people in the flesh that live through these things, follow the instructions, ups and downs, the whole kit and caboodle, bro.
It says, seeing he hath dealt deceitfully with her.
Mm-hmm.
And if he hath, verse 9, and if he hath betrothed unto her his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters.
Right, so if a master, like a head of a house, basically if he promised a certain maid servant to his son, and he got to treat her as a daughter, he can't deal. That's wicked, you know? That's, you got to treat her as a daughter. That's your son's wife. That's his property now. He can use her in every capacity he wants to build up his own enterprise, whether he want to stay on his father's wing or if he want to split up, like Abraham eventually did, you know? So that shows that too. Like, even if you're coming under your father, it might, as a young man, you might either come up under your father or you have the option at some point to do your own thing. You'll have your own maid servants and things of that nature too, you know? But the woman, you know, obviously she ain't really got no say so, you know?
It says,
She probably got a little say so, but
Yeah.
it ain't written about.
But it ain't written about, yeah.
You know, daddy, I don't. You
But
know,
But everything was fair to
It
her.
shows request when she asked if her dad if we can have the springs. You know, I think it was something about Caleb daughter. Like, you know, let's do it like
his
this.
mom was like, the daughter was like, she had an input.
She had a little input.
But it's gonna go into them as we keep reading. Like, we dealt with our women the right way, man. We ain't just deal. Cause like today, man, just shut up, bitch.
We just didn't allow bullshit.
Exactly.
It was some bullshit, you know what I'm saying?
But
But sometimes a woman can say something and you go, okay,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Yup.
You know?
It's all about building.
Right.
If she in your household, you gonna deal the right way.
But these were women who were raised with a whole different
Build
capacity and mind frame.
what you had going on.
They wasn't.
They understood.
They understood it on a whole nother level. They were raised to understand. It was ingrained in them from a young age. This is the way.
Legacy training. This is how we gonna get it.
So their interest would be for
Greater good.
for the greater good.
Whatever food you like.
That's all about decisions.
Whatever you like.
Build up your household, man.
That's why children are so important.
Exactly. That's more, yo.
And the Lord bless women for that. You know what I'm saying? The Lord gonna bless her obedience.
Fruit of the womb is his reward.
That's right. Especially the male child. Yep. Who's it? Verse 10.
It says, and if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall not be diminished.
That's right. So that means you got to deal the right way. So if you do take a wife, her food, her raiment, her duty of marriage shall not diminish. So you build. You got to be taking. You got to take care of. Those are all necessities for her to live.
Even if you take it.
Yeah.
If you take it, that
It
applies.
says shall not diminish, man. So you got to, you got to take care of it, man. You know.
Can't put it off.
And that would rule out a lot of BS in this society too. If this society,
And men, if that was a requirement to get more women, how goddamn productive would our men be?
It's like, why they be on it?
So this is how I get more.
okay.
How about sugar?
So I'm super diligent.
Be hella building, man.
Jake need this truth, bro. This is it. This is it. It says, and if he do not these things, these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money.
That's right. So that's the situation she can bounce. So like you said, they do have options. Cause like, come on, bro, you gotta be in order, man. You just can't have a woman and not take care of her.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
She can't be out in the streets.
Exactly.
Cause that's what's gonna happen.
Obedience is better than sacrifice for her too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
You go to these streets.
With no money. Now these women leave, they get all the money.
crazy.
I'll say, I ain't gonna live with a baby and some water.
So that situation is in her best interest to cultivate and build.
You gotta figure out how to make it happen.
That's exactly what ended up happening.
Free without no money.
Everybody want that. Everybody want that reheated.
That moist head wrap, sweat from the sweat from walking.
Yeah.
Nobody want that shit.
You sing about that pussy.
Yeah, well, put her first. Put that woman first.
Yeah.
It says,
Baby, I deserve it.
Oh man, I hate that song.
Yeah.
especially when you're into it with your woman. It says, he that, when they keep going, it says, he that smiteth a man so that he die shall be surely put to death.
That's right. So that's point blank to the cut, and that's really talking about like murder, which is gonna get into that too, because things happen like horrible between men, especially back then. It was rough men. It could have been a disagreement. It's gonna get into that, but it's talking about murder. If a man murder another man, he shall surely be put to death. And the precept to that is Leviticus, the 24th chapter, Leviticus 24:17. Somebody just want to read it. It reads similar, but a little differently.
Leviticus 24:17, and he that killeth any man shall surely be put to death.
And you see it use the word instead of smite, it said, he that killeth another man, shall be surely be put to death.
And there's a difference between kill and murder.
Mhm.
Kill means you premeditatedly try to do, you want to do it.
Exactly.
I'm gonna kill this nigga.
Exactly. And it's going to go into that. Just like Cain did with Abel. That was premeditated murder. That's why it goes on in the scriptures to talk about Cain should be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, because we can read, yeah.
When we keep going to Leviticus 24?
Well, that's it on that. Let's go back to Exodus 21 and 13.
21 and 13, Exodus. And if a man lie not in wait, but God deliver him into his hand, then I will appoint thee a place whither he shall flee.
And somebody hold Deuteronomy 19:3. Right, it says if a man lie not in wait, meaning it's not premeditated murder, then the Most High will deliver him to basically set up a situation where he can flee.
Yeah, they have cities of refuge.
Exactly. Where you can just kind of chill, let the situation die down. So the person that you hit, maybe they family, they ain't gonna try to take vengeance on them. Because if it was a situation where you didn't come, it wasn't premeditated, it wasn't like no mal intent behind it, then.
But it looked like murder.
But it just looked like murder. But if you go flee and come back, they gotta leave that alone. It's gonna get into that too.
It's another thing between murder and killing. You got sins that's punishable by death.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so if the judgment is for you to put them to death, you see what I'm saying? So there's a such thing as a righteous kill, and then you got murder. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah, because he that killeth with the sword shall be killed with the sword.
Exactly.
Even we saw the law, killing in certain instances is
We
legal.
say Numbers 30.
Yeah. Like if somebody trespassing on your property, you take them out.
That's why most Moab alone.
Basically, blood gotta be shed. We were talking about the blood.
Numbers 33.
Numbers 33. I don't know the verse.
Real quick.
You got something.
Numbers 35:6. And among the cities which ye shall give unto the Levites, there shall be 6 cities for refuge, which ye shall appoint for the manslayer, that he may flee thither. And to them ye shall add 42 cities. So all the cities which ye shall give to the Levites shall be 48 cities. Them shall ye give with their suburbs.
Yeah, but that shows things like that could have happened to where if allegedly it looked like a murder, then you might have to flee. But they had cities to where Israelites can go into until basically that heat cooled down, so the person, maybe their loved one, don't take vengeance upon them,
The Levites were in charge of them.
Right.
Yep.
So when you go down to verse 11, it says, Then ye shall appoint you cities to be cities of refuge for you, that the slayer may flee thither, which killeth any person at unawares.
At unawares, like non-intentionally. Like accident.
What they'll call
Or could have got into a fight, and then things happen.
That's righteous.
Like,
Situation.
Right. That's judgment. You know,
Adam was trying to flee.
and
His
then,
mother kept on trying to run up on him. She was like, look, I'm about to smell, I'm about to ice you, man. You know, kill him. I mean, he fled, but Joab went after him. You know.
even in Esau's system, his criminal justice system, it's no statute of limitations on murder, on alleged murder. You don't know how the murders could take place, but anything was allegedly a murder, they can try to convict you for forever, as long as you're alive. You know? Was it more than that?
Yeah. And they shall be unto you cities for refuge from the avenger, that the manslayer die not until he stand before the congregation.
Right.
Congregation and judgment.
The person that's trying to come after the slayer for putting maybe a loved one or whoever the case may be to death. Go ahead.
I think, let me see, it says, skip down to verse 15, it says, these 6 cities shall be a refuge both for the children of Israel and for the stranger and for the sojourner among them, that everyone that killeth any person unawares may flee thither, and if he smite him with an instrument of iron, so that he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. And if he smite him with a throwing a stone wherewith he may die, and he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. Or if he smite him with a hand weapon of wood wherewith he may die, and he die, he is a murderer. And the murderer shall be put to death.
That's Esau. He's
That's
trying
right.
to swore.
Exactly. Because we know he has all bad or malign intention.
Wow. That's crazy.
Esau is the number one premeditated murder, man.
According to the law, Esau should be put to death.
He should have been there.
If a man should be found in another man's hand, that man
He should have been there.
It says, the revenger of blood himself shall slay the murderer when he meeteth him, and he shall slay him.
Point blank.
It says, but if he thrust him of hatred or hurl at him by laying of weight, that he die, or in the enmity smite him with his hand, that he die. He that smote him shall surely be put to death, for he is a murderer. The revenger of blood shall slay the murderer.
Kind. So let's just go into different situations, how you handle these situations. It's not just a end all be all. Like with Esau, if it's any alleged murder and they don't really go into a thorough examination of what took place, what caused the so-called murder, to know the right judgment. You know, this is important, man. You know.
It says, but if he thrust him suddenly without enmity, or have cast upon him anything without laying of weight, or with any stone wherewith he may die, seeing him not, and cast it upon him that he die, and was not his enemy, neither sought his harm, then the congregation shall judge between the slayer and the revenger of blood according to these judgments.
And I was saying that according to that judgment will be whether you get put to death or whether you are sent to a city of refuge.
Exactly. Yep. But it was like case by case too.
Come.
You know.
Just like everything else.
Yep.
Everything is case by case. You know what I'm saying? When you a judge, that's just like in Esau's system. The judge decides what goes on. You know what I'm saying? He listens to both sides and then he makes a judgment.
Yeah, jury.
You see? They on the left hand side though. You see? It ain't gonna be no way to get it wrong. It ain't gonna be no way to get it wrong when the Heavenly Father set up the judge. You see?
Can somebody get Deuteronomy 19:3? And this one basically, I ain't even had it on notes. Deuteronomy 19:3, and we'll read 3 through 6.
Yeah. Deuteronomy 19:3. Thou shalt prepare thee a way and divide the coast of thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee to inherit, into 3 parts, that every slayer may flee thither.
Right, so I'm just going into how there were parts where we can go take refuge if there was an alleged murder that occurred. Go ahead.
Thou shalt prepare thee a way. You should start at
Verse 4. You on verse 4 now.
It said, and this is the case of the slayer which shall flee thither, that he may live. Whoso killeth his neighbor ignorantly, whom he hated, not in time past.
That's right. So this is the case of the slayer, someone that killed someone ignorantly, meaning unintentionally. It says whom he hated not in time past. So
Right.
he ain't had no beef with him.
Right.
Just something went down, and that was the result. This was the case for him. Go ahead.
As when a man goeth into the wood with his neighbor,
Mm-hmm.
he hew wood, and his hand fetched a stroke with the axe to cut down a tree, and the head slippeth from the helve and lighteth upon his neighbor, that he die, like you deer hunting or something.
So right, like if you just out there like a lumberjack out there cutting wood, things happen. Like our men would actually put me in work back then. So you're dealing with hardcore instruments. An axe can that's not unfathomable. That probably happens sometimes for real lumberjacks. You missing limbs because an axe handle might slip out your hand. Your neighbor, your brother right there, you get hit, he die. That's unintentional, But it may be a situation, somebody in his family, they may want to avenge that because that was a breadwinner.
Yep.
That's messing up their
The
household.
whole house is turned upside down.
Or they may want restitution. If you ain't got the money that they asking, they gonna put you to death, So we had it set up to where you could flee, Go ahead. Back to Deuteronomy.
19. And the head slippeth from the helve and lighteth upon his neighbor, that he die. He shall flee unto one of those cities and live.
He shall flee into one of those cities and live, man. So that's just a way of the Most High showing mercy too, mercy and judgment.
Lest the avenger of blood pursue the slayer while his heart is hot.
Right, and that's the avenger of the blood pursue the slayer while his heart is hot, while it's like fresh.
He and his emotion.
He and his emotion, man. That's Jake legacy right now, man. We gotta go pull up Kane from Odal. We gotta run them clips back. We gotta go get this nigga. Like it on site, all that nonsense, man. Not analyzing, not being logical about situations, But if we took these steps, man, everything would just be, it would be peace.
Life.
Yeah, life. Go ahead.
It says, while his heart is hot, and overtake him, because the way is long, and slay him, whereas he was not worthy of death, inasmuch as he hated him not in the past. He didn't have no beef with him.
Yeah, he wasn't that. But you gonna basically go avenge somebody that just did something out of ignorance or unintentionally, man. So that's just going into that. Does anybody have anything? Or else we go back to Exodus 21.
Yep. Exodus 21 and 13. If a man lie not in wait, but God deliver him into his hand, then will I appoint thee a place whither thee shall flee.
Mm-hmm.
But if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor to slay him with gall,
Someone can look that word up presumptuously too, but it basically means just premeditated murder. If a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor to slay him with gall, hatred, envy, covetousness, all these things which Esau embodies, like basically he already calculated them steps, like I gotta get him,
I got it.
Go ahead.
Zawad. It says, to boil up, seethe, act proudly, act presumptuously, act rebelliously, be presumptuous, be arrogant, be rebellious, be proud.
We said to boil up.
Yeah.
So it didn't just all of a sudden you just decided that, hey, I gotta go kill this nigga. That's been something that's been simmering to a boil to a point it's boiling off the pot now. So presumption, that means you've been meditating on heaven.
Boy, he's just boiled.
Yeah. Yup.
You mad at somebody
Just taking that nigga out.
Yo.
You following him around.
Yo, man, to us.
Man.
That's Esau, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I did.
Jake be doing that to us in spirit. You know, he'll actually come slay us, but they be mad as hell.
Oh yeah, I want to say that's why your first alert be a thumbs down.
Yeah.
I got this dictionary. It says presumptuous, failing to observe the limits of what is permitted or appropriate.
Right, tripping. They don't
Judgment
care.
just blinded because
Their heart is their God is their belly.
Mm-hmm.
Full of boldness.
Nothing gonna stop him.
See red.
No rationale, just outnumbered. Red, just
One nigga done took his shirt out talking about who want to fuck with Hollywood stuff.
Yup. Acting like Zeus, man, on the whole part.
Man, I'm telling you, tripping. That nigga was tripping.
That's when I found out
That's
wrestling
no,
was
like
fake.
that, man.
Man, they twist that nigga head off.
Exodus 21, or is that it? Oh, Exodus 21 and 14. But if a man come presumptuously unto his neighbor to slay him with gall, thou shalt take him from mine altar that he may die.
So he gotta get put to death, man. That's premeditated murder. You killed a man. You know, you boiled up in your emotions and that rage, logic and proper judgment to where you carried out that act. So for that, you gotta die. That's a simple judgment. If those are the facts that are presented to the person that's making the judgment.
No loopholes or gray areas.
Yeah.
And he that smiteth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death.
So you can't kill your parents, man.
Oh man.
You can't pay nobody to kill your parents. You know, you can't set up no device to where your parents will be out of there for an insurance policy or whatever. You know.
I'm gonna get everything.
Yeah, man. True.
Go ahead.
And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death.
And this embodies Esau, man. He stole us and he sold us, and to this day, we're found in his hand. Matter of fact, someone grabbed Revelation 13, chapter 13, 9, and 10. And did you find that one in Numbers 33?
It was in the chapter you was in. It was the chapter you was in. It's just there in the bottom.
Yeah, can somebody get it?
Yeah.
Numbers 33, is it 23?
It's hold up, I got it.
Revelation 13.
35 and 33.
You want Revelation?
I want Revelation first. Go ahead.
Revelation 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
That's right. So this is an all righteousness, man. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, because we were more than just indentured servants under Esau, man. He put us through the most brutal captivity ever written about in history, man. You know, breaking us up from our families, man. Just when you go into the wilderness levels, all of these different methods of torture that he put on us, man, to just break us down. You know, he gonna have to go in captivity for that, and killing us on the boat ride over here. That's why them sharks go by that trail to get a free meal. You know, where they was taking that trail, and then just the murders and atrocities that they put on us once we got on the plantations as well, man. That was just premeditated murder, you know. And that's all righteousness in the sight of the Heavenly Father, you know. You got that, or somebody got that in Numbers? Okay.
This is Numbers chapter 35, verse 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land.
That's right, blood defiles the land, man. So this land, for one, is defiled too, man. You know?
Full of murder.
Go ahead. Yeah, because and then Esau, they always come out with that cop-out, you know, the two rights don't make a wrong, but yeah, the hell they do.
That's what we're talking about, the Avenger.
Yeah.
The Avenger shall seek, and the Avenger will always the brothers in the family of those men that was killed, man.
Right.
But he always do a right
Exactly.
thing. 9/11, he went over and fucked people up.
He retaliates.
But he
He
retaliated.
wanted to avenge his small brother.
He got a death penalty.
And he made that up.
Yeah, he fucked up bitch. He went to Iraq. He didn't even go to the people who actually did it.
They went to Iraq.
If he wants to revenge, get him to
Yeah.
man, you will go to
Fuck
Saudi
yeah.
Arabia.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's a good point.
All I say, then, when you defile the land with blood, the earth ain't gonna yield. You know, so that's why you gotta do GMOs. You can't grow tomatoes because you be killing people.
The curse of the earth.
You done kill so many people, you can't grow carrots and shit.
One of them that destroyed the earth, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It says, verse Numbers 35 and 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for the blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it.
That's right. So I 2 for 2 like you're gonna get when we keep reading Exodus 21st chapter, man. That's the only way it's gonna make it even Stephen, man. You require your blood. Reparations act, ain't gonna get it.
Right.
No, we don't want this. No, we don't want a contract or another fucking paperwork agreement. Nope.
Something else you can renege.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta be moved out the way, man.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is when you read Luke 11 and 50, it says the blood of all the prophets which was shed from the foundation of the world may be required of this generation. He was speaking to Israelites. How much more Esau?
Man, bro.
Man. So that's heavy, man.
I got one.
Go ahead.
This is Genesis chapter 9, verse 6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of the Most High made you man.
That's plain.
That's plain. So, and that's righteousness into the Most High. Like it talks about that 2 Thessalonians 1 and 6.
It's a righteous thing.
It's a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to those that trouble you.
I'll say, but Esau tell you two wrongs don't make it right.
Yeah. That's what he'll say because he is a fugitive and a vagabond from judgment. That's Cain.
That's what a fugitive and a vagabond would say.
Right.
Two wrongs don't make it right, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm your brother.
Who? Yes, I
And then soon I was saying, then soon she was like, yeah, we are brothers. She kick you in the nuts and shit.
Right. So, Esau, he don't play fair, man.
He got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you throw dirt in your eyes.
Yeah.
Exodus 21.
Yeah, let's go back to Exodus 21 and no more precepts.
Galatians 6 and 7. Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
That's right. And thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously. They shall deal treacherously with thee. That's what we see happening, man. So he's reaping his own fruits, his own wicked fruits. The chickens have come on the roof like our beloved brother Malcolm X said.
For he that soweth to the flesh shall the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall the Spirit reap life everlasting.
That's right. And that's why Esau, he's a harbinger of death. Because all he sows is death, man. He's not a proponent for life. Because everything that he does, all of his institutions are about promoting things that lead to death. They call it what? A sexual orientation, which when you go into that word orient, it means east. Because that's the righteous way in the east. But really, Esau tells you can be a homosexual, you can do this and be that, you know? So really, that's a disorientation, you know?
He's saying that way is the right way.
Yeah. Right. Sexual orientation, man. That's just, Esau had that play on words, man. That's the thing. Is that it?
You have it right here.
Go ahead.
This is Colossians chapter 3 and verse 25. But he that doeth wrong, murder or whatever, shall receive for the wrong which he hath done. And there is no respect of person.
That's right. Because Esau, he feels through that pride in his spirit that they're the only nation of people that are exempt from judgment somehow, man. They think they can just do whatever they know they want, run around the earth, stealing, lying, killing every damn body, and that they ain't gonna have to pay for that. But the little small shit, they trying to trick Jacob every day and give you football numbers like Jug is saying, you know? Over the smallest things, man. Hey, in the state of Cali, they got a 3 strikes rule, man. If you go into some of them charges, you look at the shit, it's probably mostly drug charges, non-violent offenses, but you got 3 strikes, 3 felonies.
Drugs equal.
You out of there. You now a servant in his penal system, man, building bridges or whatever.
Once he put the drugs in, and they wrap it up yourself.
Maybe
And then there's a benefit off that.
And then he'll shoot the rapper.
Yeah.
And then he'll shoot the rapper so he can sell his albums for more money.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn, nigga.
Nigga winning.
Man. Got it. That nigga got it. Nigga creative.
Exodus.
Yeah, we'll just read through 22 and end it.
Okay.
Because I'm hitting the points I really want to hit. Go ahead. You said what, 16?
Yep, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he should surely be put to death.
Yup, man, that's easy money right there, man. And it ain't hard to tell who's in that situation right now. We're still to this day found in his hand. Even though Jake don't think that's the case, you gotta read Baruch 3 and 8. Matter of fact, somebody get that real quick.
What is it?
Baruch 3 and 8. To this day.
To this day. Sure.
To this damn day, man. They got tripping over chicken sandwiches, just being just straight homeborn slaves.
I got you. This is Baruch chapter 3, verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity.
Yo, we yet this day in our captivity. So ain't nothing changed just because you have the ability to clock out and go to the crib, you know. Hey, it's more of a spiritual or mental, you know, captivity, debt slavery.
You gotta realize the clocking in and clocking out part.
Yo,
Well, I can, don't say, I gotta get off work, I can do what I want to do. Bruh, you gotta go to work. Wake the fuck up, bro. Like, stop. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power.
And that's how it's more of a captivity to us today. Like, they just can't get out their debt race. We don't own anything. We have to, like the scripture talking about in Deuteronomy 28, we're one of all things to this man. We don't have autonomy or sovereignty to where we have our own source of food and just all of the different just so-called basic necessities to sustain ourselves. We gotta go to this bastard for it, you know? So, to this day.
Yep. And he know that.
Yep.
That's why he need a pork and everything.
That's his leverage to
That's
do
why he
whatever
defined it. Yep. He defined everything because he know we gotta come in for it.
Go ahead.
Lamentations chapter 5, verse 4. We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us.
Our wood is sold to us. So things that these are basic things, man. We have to buy. We have to buy. I don't want.
Bro, the earth was made for our sakes.
Mm-hmm.
We don't make water. We don't make water. Ain't gotta pay for it. And then it's contaminated. That's the ultimate sin. Bro, I was looking at that water video.
That's a good
With
point.
all the different waters and all that shit.
And for electricity, air. You know,
air tax.
You know, just things like that scripture we brought out in Ecclesiastes at the camp last night. Even the king, he eats off the field.
Yeah.
So basically, the things that's supposed to just be within the earth and just for everybody, man, we still in a situation to where he charges us for those things.
Yeah, like the beach.
Yep.
How you gonna tell me I can't walk right here, bro?
Air tax. There's airspace. They control air. You know.
You gotta pay for breathing, bro.
So they on that
You
way.
gotta pay to walk on the beach, but you can walk on concrete. You gotta pay. They make you pay to walk on the concrete.
And if I could just say this too, it extends even beyond just the nation of Israel that this applies to, because they got even their own people subject to these monotonous constraints as well. So he's just a completely tyrannical ruler, man.
Evil to himself.
Yup. To whom you surely do good.
That's why his kingdom is going.
It's like the Most High made the beach. We got it.
He'll close off certain sections, you know.
The nicest part.
Jeremiah 5:22. Fear ye not me, saith the Lord. Will ye not tremble at my presence, which hath placed the sand for a bound of the sea by perpetual decree, that the water cannot pass, that it cannot pass. So he made the beach.
Wow.
Esau just
Yeah, he's trying to basically shot call the Most High's creation, man. That's what it all boils down to. That's why he's in Africa and all of these different lands, man. He's trying to control the creation.
right.
Fucking shit.
If it wasn't for beaches, shit would flood.
Man, yup.
This man is the devil, bro.
That's the barrier between like the land and the water, yup.
So back in verse 5 of Lamentations, the chapter. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest.
That's right. Our necks are under persecution. Don't pay them student loans back, man, and think you're just gonna dip off scot-free. Esau gonna antagonize you,
Bro, he
man.
can go anywhere,
Anywhere.
but he can't find ISIS.
You ain't gonna find it, bro.
So like,
You ain't gonna find it. Don't pay your child support. You go try to go to Mexico, man.
They gonna pull up.
Alright. Good luck,
Man.
y'all.
I'm coming.
Oh, they ain't even gotta do that. You just see a check short, bank account empty.
Big job.
You just got the straight persecution over your neck in every way, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, we labor and have no rest. We have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians and satisfied with bread.
That's right, and those kingdoms represent Esau's kingdom because he took all the philosophies, the customs, and the spirit of all of those captivities that had us, you know, under them at one point. You know?
Yeah, he's a spiritual Assyrian Egyptian now.
Exactly. Times 10. Let's go back to Exodus 21 and what we was at 17.
Exodus 21 and 8:17. It says, "And he that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death."
And that's a commandment. You know, honor thy mother and thy father, you know. Talks about in Sirach, I think, but that's how you prolong your days. You know, so you can't be an asshole.
Even in their ignorance, you know.
Even in their ignorance.
Boast in their ignorance.
You know the truth. They don't know the truth. Hey, just give them the respect. That's why you should be a man. You should be under your parents' own house at this point, especially if you got this truth. Get your own shit. Respect them. But just do what you're supposed to do.
You can honor your mother and father by giving up about that shit.
Exactly. It's an easy thing because you gotta worry.
Yeah. And if men strive together and one smite another with a stone or with his fist, and with his fist, and he die not, but keepeth his bed, if he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff, then shall he that smote him be quit.
And that's where you get acquitted from. You know? So basically, if two men strive together, they basically get into a fist fight, or it says another with the stone, and basically the dude get knocked unconscious, he get knocked the hell out. So he gets slept. Go ahead, read 19 again, right? Sure.
If he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff, then he that smote him, then shall he that smote him be quit.
Yeah. So most likely it was devastating, bro.
Yeah.
You know, he ain't walking.
He's unconscious.
He's like out, like what you be seeing on the movies where niggas just in the bed, we wake up, drink some water, and go back to sleep. Like beat.
He's still alive though.
Completely whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, like little Seymour did, Bill Cosby on what was that, Uptown Saturday?
Yeah.
He beat his ass. It said, where am I at? It said,
I got that word. I have that word quit.
Go ahead.
Yeah, in the Hebrew nakah, to be empty, be be pure, be free, be innocent.
Be acquitted. Yeah.
to be acquitted.
To be desolate, cut off.
That's where they get the word acquitted from, because it's English, you know.
To be free from guilt. Exempt from punishment. Yeah.
Exactly. It's dismissed. That charge against you, it ain't no charge against you in this situation. You know? It said, can you just read 19 again? So we can try to fill through it.
If he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff.
So now we got to use a cane to get around. So that shows how devastating that blow was, you know? He came out of his conscious state. Go ahead.
Then shall he that smote him be acquitted. Only he shall pay for the loss of his time.
There you go.
And shall cause him to be thoroughly healed.
So you just gotta pay his medical bill. And that's righteous, because even then, this old school, this movie South Central, OG Bobby Johnson, and then he was like, man, he was trying to tell his son not to go kill. He's like, if you take a man's good, over time, you can give his man his goods back. If you hurt a man, you know, over time, you know, it could be forgiven. But if you kill a man, you cannot turn away from that, you know. But that's the same thing. This is basically a situation, what is it called? Reconcilable. It's reconcilable.
Yeah, reconcilable.
Reconcilable. Which that's to make a friend again when you go into that word. So.
Yeah, because at the beginning of it, it wasn't never no religious intent.
Right.
It just happened the way it happened. So to make it right, you see what I'm saying? You pay the bill.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And through that process of him healing, you know what I'm saying, the Lord will mend that relationship to where y'all can be brothers.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But you gotta let the Lord do what He do, man. You know?
But you can't have an attitude at the same time and pride. Like, hey, that wasn't my fault. I didn't try to do that. It just why should I have to pay him? That ain't the right spirit either. You know? So he's just saying how to deal in all balances of that particular situation. Go ahead.
It says, and if a man smite his servant or his maid with a rod, and he die under his hand, he shall surely be punished.
Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, if he continues a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his money.
Right, so you basically just messing up your own enterprise by smiting your servants to a point where they would be put to death anyway. You know, but that's not an offense that's necessarily punishable by death, though.
Right.
Right, it say punished, not surely. Or say it say punished, and then it say surely put to death.
Right.
Two different judgments.
Exactly.
You see?
Go ahead.
If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely be punished according as the woman's husband will lay upon him, and he shall pay as the wages determined.
Right, so two grown ass men get into a fight. A pregnant woman, she just right there bystanding, just get hit to where she lose fruit of her womb, she lose the baby. The only thing that has to happen is that man or the men that were in that scuffle have to pay the husband based on whatever amount he set, you know, to make that right. And that's pretty much it, man. And it says, and he shall pay as the judges determine, meaning the elders or whoever the judges will set up in that village or community or whatever the case is. And then basically throughout the rest of the chapter, it just goes into how to deal with animals. You know, it's all basic stuff, but if y'all want to read it, y'all can do that on your own time. I don't want to make it too lengthy. Brevity, look that word up too. But no closing points, precepts. I think that was it. That's the point I want to make. What? All right.